Hey everybody, this is Harry with a response to DVD Collector 1974's chat topic, your favorite cinema experiences or experience. And I have several of them because I've been quite around for a while. Ian likes to point out, um, young jit that he is, young wanker that he is, sheep shagger that he is. Anyways, I love Ian to death, so I don't care what anybody says. So I have several stories. The first movie that I ever went to in the theater that I remember, my brother took me to Radio City Music Hall to watch Charlotte's Web, the cartoon that came out, I guess 72, 73. I remember walking through Manhattan. We took the subway from Brooklyn. He lived in Brooklyn at the time. I would spend summers there with him, a couple of weeks or a month sometimes. My oldest brother Patrick, and I remember walking the streets of New York City and going to Radio City Music Hall to watch Charlotte's Web, and I enjoyed it so much because it was my first film in a theater that we sat there and watched it 3 times in a row, which he wasn't too happy about. But I guarantee when he left, when the Radio City Music Hall, he knew all the words uh, from the film. That was my earliest memory of going to a film. Another one was in 1975. My mother had left me with a babysitter. We lived in Long Beach, New York, and then we went to the Lido Theater. And that's where I used to go. Actually, when I was about 7, 8 years old, I used to go on my own to the theater because it was just right up the block. I would walk out, go across the road, Long Beach Boulevard, and I'd be over and go down to the corner, and there was the Lido Theater. But this one time, the babysitter, who I remember distinctly having triplets, she decided in 1975 to take me to go see Jaws. So in 1975, when Jaws came out, I was 8, going on 9 years old, and my mother wasn't too happy with her because I was afraid to go in the water after that. It was because we lived in Long Beach, New York, and you guessed it, Long Beach, there was a beach there, and we would go to the boardwalk and go to the beach and go swimming. I would not go in the water. I would go put my feet in right at the tide, but I wouldn't go further in. I was afraid of sharks getting attacked. And my mother, I was so upset. She told that lady, she said, "What would give you the idea to send an 8-year-old to a movie to see a shark movie?" And the woman says, "Well, we wanted to do something. That was the only thing that was playing." And I remember being in the theater when I was a kid, and this is what scared me. I guess this would be considered my first horror movie that I seen in a movie theater. um, so, Richard Dreyfuss is in the water, and he is going down looking for shark teeth, and he come across a boat with a hole in it, and a head popped out. And this was before surround sound. Everything was in mono, but it was a powerful speaker system. So when that head popped out and the music went, whoop, everybody jumped out of their seats, and I did too. I wanted to run the fuck out of there, and because I was scared shitless. I got over that fear years later, but for a few years, I would not go into the water, of the beach. Not until we moved to Florida and we moved to Fort Lauderdale. I remember my brother taking me to see The Towering Inferno in an old theater in Long Beach, New York. Also, we sat in a balcony, which was the first time And the last time I ever sat in a balcony at a movie theater, they wound up tearing it down or closing it down not too long afterwards because it was really old. I think it was from the 20s. But I saw the Towering Inferno in the theater. And then, like I said, I was able to walk up to the movie theater. I would, tickets were like $1, $2, something like that, $3 back then. So I would get money from my mother, and I would walk up. And this is back in the day before kids got really snatched up, and you can't do that shit anymore. But I walked and I watched a Godzilla movie. Excuse me. And maybe James will know this name of the movie. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but the Godzilla, and it was a robot, robot. And Godzilla ran and jumped and did a flying kick, flying across the screen and hit the. I watched that 2 or 3 times until I sat there. I was there so long, my mother thought I actually got snatched, and they had to come in and get me out of the movie theater. They came and looked for me, and I was there. I was there till 10 o'clock at night. I was 7 years old. Didn't realize. So saw Rocky in the theater. I seen that by myself. It was rated PG. They weren't gonna let me in. And a woman says, "Oh, he's with me. He's my." And I was able to go in and I watched Rocky by myself. And then just a helpful hint to anybody who's going to the movies nowadays: never eat Taco Bell before you go into a movie theater. I had a chaperone, my nephew Richard, God rest his soul. He is on a date. My mother, he was about 14, 15 at the time. My mother said I had to go with him to the theater. And this is 1985, we went and seen Fletch. So we had time to kill, so we went into Taco Bell, or Taco Viva, something like that. And the flatulence was really bad in that movie theater. And it was packed. And and I was farting really, really bad, really bad. And I always remember the lady 2 rows ahead of me said, "You're a sick fuck." And I couldn't stop laughing. I'm surprised I didn't get thrown out. I couldn't stop laughing, and some people thought it was because of the movie, but it wasn't that funny. But the flatulence was. Another flatulence movie was Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield and Joe Pesci. Me and my friend Spencer went to the movie theater down here in Fort Lauderdale, and we tried to sneak in moon pies and drink jungle juice, and the marshmallow and the moon pies got to us, and he almost got thrown out of the theater because of it. I sat a row in front of him, and people were complaining, and they were telling him that if he didn't be quiet, that he needed to leave. And he said, "Well, this was a comedy movie." So I was about 17, 18 years old. So those are some of my favorite movie experiences that I had over the years. At least in the 80s, I had a few others that stood out, I guess. I saw Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks, and it was a packed house. I was the youngest dude in the movie theater. I was in my 30s at the time, and must have been senior day or something. It was actually the day of release it came out, so it was packed. And it was the only time I had been in a movie theater where everybody just got up and clapped. At the end of the movie when the credits started rolling, everybody got up and clapped at a movie theater. So that was the first time that ever happened, and it was pretty cool seeing that, because, like I said, I've been to movies before that had never happened. I've been in there where people yelling and screaming at each other, or screaming at the TV or the movie screen. Saw Ford Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay, and people were laughing and yelling at the screen and cussing and stuff. So And now the habit is me and the wife don't go out that often. We saw Bohemian Rhapsody last year, and then the last movie we saw, which was Downton Abbey, that was to satisfy the wife. I never watched the show, so I was kind of going in there cold with it. And I was the only guy in the movie theater. There was 6 of us in there. There was me and my wife and 4 other women, two on one side and 2 on the other. And one woman was just talking through the movie. I guess telling the other lady there, well, this person did this, and that. That was kind of annoying. And now, me and the wife do have a habit of going to see the new Star Wars films. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi we both seen on New Year's Eve. And we drive up to Valdosta, Georgia to go see those films. So, those are my boring movie experiences. Oh, one more. I was mentioning my first wife, Tracy. God rest her soul. She passed away in '95. We used to go to the dollar movies. Jay mentioned about going to dollar movies, and we did. And she hated long movies. Every movie we went to that I picked was a long movie. JFK, Dances with Wolves, and stuff like that were 3 hours long, and she hated that. And she said, "Wow, in Margate they got the dollar movies. Let's go to them." So I said, "Well, what's playing?" She said, "Hoffa and Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr." I said, "Yeah, let's do that." We were in the movie for almost 6 hours. In the movie theater for 6 hours. Because both movies are like 2.5 hours long. And then, intermission, in between films and then stuff. So we were in there. We got in there at 7 o'clock, and we almost didn't get out of there until midnight, a little bit after midnight. So, the longest I ever sat in a movie theater. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy it. Anybody else wants to join in? Robert, Brian, anybody, Dice K, please join us. Join us, grumpy old bastards. Talk to you later. Bye.